So I'm making this video to show you guys how to drain a drain and what they look like. I had 3 of these in recently, so I had 4 total, 2 on each side right after my mastectomy. This is purely for educational purposes, so I'm going to show you everything. Lucky you. Here we go. We'll start with what they look like. And you won't see my face because I want you to see the majority of my chest and how this is done. So I have my phone propped up, that way everybody can see how this process works. So here we go. These are what your boobs will look like if you get expanders. Here's 1, here's 2. This is the side with my cancer. This is the side without cancer. Just because they look different doesn't mean that there is anything wrong or that there is a problem with one or the other. That's just the way they heal because they're expanders. They're not gonna look like this when they're all done. Your boobs will look nice and pretty instead of like pancakes. So for now, they look like pancakes, but we're getting there. In the process, no matter if you decide to get your boobs done or not, you will have these things called drains attached to you. Here, let me get rid of my bathrobe. And they are so not fun. They are these little things that are attached from inside there, and they get rid of all that extra liquid. Now, we're going to empty this first and record it. Now, I had, as you see the Band-Aid, 1 more here, and on each side I had 2 more over there, which were just removed. Now, people talk about removal of these drains and how they hurt really, really bad. I want to tell you that I was terrified from all of the people telling me how bad this hurt. It does not hurt that bad. Don't be that terrified. It's in your head. Now, on to stripping them. So what you want to do is you want to hold the top here. Now, mind you, I just washed my hands, so that's your first step. But you want to hold the top close to your skin, okay? And using a mirror, and actually my phone is really helpful because I can see what I'm doing. That way, if you don't have someone to help you, you can still do this yourself. But as you see, I'm pretty close to the skin. You don't want to hurt yourself, so just as far, as close as you can get. And you can use alcohol wipes, you can use other things, like I've heard people use lotion. I wouldn't recommend that because it gets messy. I prefer just to lick my fingers, so I wet my fingers, just kind of lick your fingers. Otherwise it'll hurt and won't go down the tube. And you're gonna pull down the tube and flatten the tube, actually, as you're pulling on it. So don't be afraid and stop because my fingers have gotten dry. So then I put this finger above that, re-wet, pull again, pull down till that tube is flat, and you'll start to see all that fluid go down in there. And it's going straight into this bag. Now my fluid is a different color because I am over a week post-op. So your fluid will change color as you heal. And that's a good sign. So now we've come to the end of our drain. We just stripped our drains, and that's called stripping your drain. So strip the drain. It's okay if there's some left hanging there, whatever. And then what you're gonna do is the top of this part, hold on, let me cover myself back up because as much as I'm proud of my scars, you don't wanna see them all the time. So we're gonna do this part now where we're gonna pop the top off. It's gonna explode on us there. No, I'm kidding. My son calls these grenades and bombs. He thinks they're funny. And then we're going to oh so carefully pour it into this nice little pea cup that they usually give you at the hospital. Yeah, so they gave me to measure. And don't spill it. And then we're going to put it back together. So that means we're going to squeeze it to get all the air out of it. And I find that if you squeeze and kind of roll from the bottom up, and then put your cap on like that, they tend to stay a little more thin, I guess, and get more of the air out. So now next step, let me get this thing put away. We're all done with our drain. It's cleaned out. We have stripped our drain. So yay us. Now let me make sure I can get it back in my bathrobe here. And I mean, it hurts a little, but it doesn't. So you do have an open wound there. I mean, it's annoying, it itches, it's sore. It is what it is, but they only last for 2 weeks, so don't be scared. Now, here's the fun part. You get to measure how much fluid is in those things. So as you can see, here's the fluid out of my drain. And I'm just gonna look here, and there's these numbers on the side in milliliters that'll tell me. I'm gonna look close. I'm gonna read about 10, nope, 15, maybe about 15 or so liters, yeah, milliliters. And I'm gonna write that down on this sheet of paper for the doctors. So before I forget, I'm gonna write down 15, the date, see, here's my chart, and then bring it into the doctor every time. So we're gonna write down the date. We're gonna write down the drain number that it is, because each of your drains will have numbers. I gave some of my names, but they got rid of them on these sides. And they weren't that appropriate. Anyways. And then you write down the color it is. So it's like a light red. Fun stuff. Last but not least, we dump this nasty stuff, wash it down the drain, wash it out, and we're done. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial or interview about drains and seeing my scars and the healing process. So, and please use this for the right way, guys. I mean, everybody has boobs. It's important that you know like what it looks like and you know what to expect, and everybody's going to be different. So my story may be different from yours, but just know that it's really not as bad as everybody says. You can do this.